Well then, this is a surprise. Soulmate just dropped a new character, the Custom Prince. And with him come 2 new skills, a whole ass new game mode, probably should have mentioned that first, some really nice skins, and more. I was in the middle of making my Faces video, but I decided to make a quick video reviewing Soulmate's new character. And man is he a treat. I'd say that the Custom Prince is up there with the Miner for being the most unique Soulmate character ever, even though I'm not too fond of his design, but that's another. Alright, let's stop beating around the bush and talk about the Custom Prince, or Prince for short, because I'm not gonna say that. The Prince is the first character released in over 9 months. Seriously, let that sink in. He's a tank character, finally. It feels like we've been getting damage and utility characters since forever. He has 4 health and 5 armor and 270 energy. I might think this is a little too low for a tank, even though he has some really nice energy, but just you wait, you'll do more face tanking with this guy than the vampire with immortality. His passive is the elemental pole radius buff. For those who don't play Rosemary Island, why the fuck do you not play it? It's the most fun shit ever, bro, go play it! This buff makes it so that standing on top of your own elemental pools expands them and increases their damage and uptime. This buff is great for specific weapons like the Molotov and make him really pair well with the elemental buffs. You need to get the elemental buffs anyways, so this helps overall. It also pairs with his ability. Not only that, but it also pairs with them. His primary weapon is a plastic mucus gun. Haha, disgust is funny, right guys? Right? This weapon acts like an assault rifle that costs 0 energy. It's actually pretty decent damage and it's very comparable to the AKs. It does have a spread which makes spacing out feel kinda clunky, but that's because you're not really supposed to use this primary fire. Its secondary mode is straight up a monster. You turn it from an assault rifle into a fucking missile launcher, firing missiles that deal damage and cost 4 energy, but will occasionally create poison. I repeat, the Custom Prince has the Alchemist's entire personality in his primary weapon, but it gets better, because it doesn't just apply poison like the Alchemist's primary weapon, it creates a poison pool, meaning you can expand it with your passive. This thing is a monster at early game and can deal with clumped up enemies really fast. Its energy cost is a little high, but energy management will help with that, and you already have a really high energy pool anyway. In fact, I'd say that this thing competes with the bow for being one of the best starter weapons. If it sounds too good to be true, well, it's because it is. It's not that crazy, primarily because you have the same health as the priestess with less armor. So getting close to benefits from the passive is a death sentence anyways with the primary weapon. Unless of course you use the Prince launch ability is called Transform Slime King. You transform into the Slime King, bigger, tankier, and slower. You replace your weapon with the magic gloves and get a new secondary fire. The magic gloves fire a bunch of projectiles like the Slime King that on impact produce a bunch of elemental pools, fire and poison. And when you get attacks, you explode with fire damage around you and spawn a slime. Using the secondary fire causes you to leap, dealing damage, firing projectiles, and spawning a poison that automatically expands with your passive. Yes, that is the Engineer's Mount ability with the Berserker's Leap ability with the Alchemist elemental potions and a little bit of the Werewolf on top. Fun fact, this ability isn't an ability, it's actually a toggle. It doesn't have a cooldown, more like it has a healing time. If you don't take damage, it's pretty much instantly up, and the duration increases with how much damage you took. You should juggle between both forms or else you'll deplete and suffer a really low cooldown. This ability is combined with his passive on a couple of buffs is insane. You basically face tank everything thanks to your high health, and deal a ton of damage in an area. While the gloves cost energy, the leap doesn't, so even if you're out, you can still output a ton of DPS. This is probably my new favorite tank ability in the game, and possibly my new go for Rosemary Island. The fact that you don't get punished with a longer cooldown may make you think that he's not really the best for tanking, but his high health and the amount of damage and AoE you do make him really a solid tank. Especially since there's a really good chance you're gonna clear out the room before you run out of health anyways. You can also be a little bitch and just stay away spamming your glove, but at that point just play the Alchemist honestly. It's not all sunshine and rainbows obviously. Just because you can, you still shouldn't take much damage so you don't suffer a long recharge time. But your absolutely huge hitbox makes that impossible, coupled with the fact that you basically need to be in the face of enemies to do anything. You also keep the negative effects when you're between forms, so if you get set on fire in the slime mode and you go back, well guess what, now you're on fire. With 4 hearts. The speed also hurts, like really badly. I'm an assassin main, man, I can't do this.
I'm only at 10% speed right now.
But at the end of the day, if you can face tank the entire room and pretty much cover the whole map in poison and fire, that will probably suffice. The Prince is a tank, first and foremost. He's more of a mix between tank and damage, which is a subclass named Bruiser in MOBA games like League of Legends. So I'd say that he's that. He fills a nice niche that was previously only covered by the Werewolf, and he's one of the only characters with more or less a toggle ability. I think people who enjoy self-healers and tanks would really like the Prince, and I can honestly see myself playing him sometimes, so the speed hurts, but man, jumping around like a madman covering the whole ground in expired aspirin is really fun. And while he's a bruiser, you can also play him as a ranged elemental character like the Alchemist, making him a really nice DPS character in top of that with a safety net. Don't spam the ability. Seriously, spamming it will make you go into slime mode for half a second then back into your regular 4 HP mode. This is probably the easiest way to die Soul Knight. This isn't a paladin shield or a vampire invulnerability. don't spam the ability. Snipe with your primary weapon's secondary fire first and then go in with your slime mode. Try to get rid of any barrel spikes or any unnecessary damage you might take in the slime to not have too long of a cooldown. The pools you'll spawn will also help during your slime mode too. Seriously, don't spam the ability. Use the leap when you want to save energy. It still does damage, spawns poison, and releases projectiles. And if you're in face with people, that will spawn slimes and make you explode, so that's even more. The Prince pairs really well with the poison buff. It makes sense since he's apparently friends with the Alchemist, so utilize it whenever you can. Your weapon, ability, fire, and ability all drop poison, so try to get it at any time you can. Maximize ability buffs rather than weapon buffs. Things like ability cooldown and stashes rather than firing speed and parts. You'll want to spend more time in slime mode, and you don't get to use weapons in slime mode, so... And finally, max the main room plants for some movement speed. I genuinely cannot do this. Before we talk about the future of the character, let's talk about his design. I think his design is meh, but that's because I'm not a fan of the small, friendly looking character with lots of destructive power archetype. But hey, it's not for me. It's for the guys that like the meat. Like Zed, my Soul Knight duo. Seriously, this guy paid 50 pounds for the llama skin. Fucking hell, bro. Second off, why is he placed here? Seriously, this place is already super grounded. Meanwhile, the middle table is basically in its own universe. Just make him sit next to the Alchemist. Speaking of the Alchemist, it's really cool that they know each other. I like these small tidbits of lore. It just makes the universe feel fresh. And plus, hey, it makes sense with their damage types. For the future of the Prince, I think what they'll do is make him transform into other bosses, especially seeing the name of the ability. I personally hope for him to turn into a World 3 and a World 1 boss, since he already got a World 2 form. For World 1, the Devastator would be awesome. Not only is she also poison, but also can you imagine filling the whole room with bullets and dropping poison around you all the time while you're stationary? That would be awesome. As for World 3, honestly, I want to play as pirate just so I can shove his own fist up his ass. If another pirate, then I think Zolian would also be cool, although let's be honest, it'll probably be the Valkyrie leader if anything. Overall, I think the Prince is a very welcome addition to the roster. It's somewhat of a mix between a werewolf and an engineer, and it works really well. The movement speed is, well, pain, but he really is fun regardless, and I had much more fun than I thought I would with this guy. Good stuff. Definitely spend some gems on it. Sandworms follow you around eating enemies. Its toggle ability that costs more energy the more it's held on. The visual is nice, but the damage is ass, lower than the officer's gun, and has a bit of a randomness in it. It's nice that they can block bullets and push enemies around though. It's basically a more random version of the Demomancer's first skill. Wouldn't recommend using it. Especially since by the time it's its maximum stacks, it's consuming more energy than running 100 miles. Besides, you can't beat invincibility frames and a teleport on cooldown. They gave him invincibility frames with the second skill and spinning balls with the first skill. Now they're giving him a mix of both with this skill. You spawn a bunch of pigeons that attack enemies. They orbit around you, acting like a melee shield like the Thywist's first skill, and holding down the button makes them attack and deal elemental damage. It's way better than the first skill, but the second skill is still better, I'd say. Iframes are better than a random shield that isn't available most of the time, plus the upgrade is kinda pointless.
It was perfect. Perfect.
Oh my god! Oh, I lost! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Hey, that's pretty good.
I mean, it's alright, like...
Not bad, not bad.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
Oh, they also made a new game. It's this sort of RPG where you control the monsters. Personally, I think I'll stick to Badass and Rosemary Island. Besides, I had to finish the video early because I'm leaving town for a week. So let me know if you want me to review this thing when I'm back. They added rerolling to Rosemary Island. Thank God.